Awesome. Looks like we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late today. I had a little bit of a glitch getting live on Facebook, but we are good to go now. So thank you, everyone, for being here, and thank you for your patience. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday with Sara Mae. I am your host, your guide, Sara Mae. I am a life coach and energy worker, and I'm the founder and instructor of Empowered Empath Academy, where I help empaths to learn how to release their trauma and step into their highest selves so they can live their best lives. Thank you so much for being here today. If you have found yourself here today, whether you're live or on the replay, please know that you're here for a reason, and you are here because you are meant to be here. There is something that you are meant to receive from today's show, whether it's for yourself or from somebody else. This information is super valuable and it is going to serve you. I am so glad to be able to share it with you today. Please say hello in the comments below. I always love knowing who is here. It's always wonderful to know who is sharing this space and this energy with us. Today, we are going to be talking about something that I am asked very often, and that is exactly how do I process my triggers and emotions? It's really common that people say, oh, well, you're going to have to process that, or you'll need time to process, or something like that. We mention processing, we talk about processing emotions, but we don't often talk about exactly how do you do it, like step by step. What do you actually do to process the emotions, to process the trigger when it comes up? So that is what we're going to talk about today. If you have ever found yourself wondering, what am I supposed to do with this emotion? What am I supposed to do with this trigger? Throw some hearts up and let me know that you too have had this question. Hello, my love. Hello. Such an important topic, Sara Mae. Thank you for talking about this. Oh, thank you for thanking me. I'm so very grateful to have you here. This is a very important subject. And especially, we just had a full moon Libra eclipse. Like, that is a big astrological event. A lot of people are processing a lot right now. So for those of you that don't know how to do it, or for those of us who do know how to do it, but maybe we just need a little refresher, let's get started. The first thing I want to say is that venting is not processing. Let me say that again. Venting is not processing. Emotions are supposed to be energy in motions. Emotions are supposed to be in motion. They are not supposed to stay with us and stick with us forever. That's just not what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to move on. Who has ever known somebody that talks about the same event over and over and over again? They're always talking about that thing that happened at one time, right? They're talking over and over again. You're like, oh my goodness, just get over it already. And you might wonder, like, why have they not processed this yet? Like, I have heard them talk about this 100,000 times. And like I said, venting can totally be part of the process. It can be really helpful to get it out, to allow yourself to be heard, to allow yourself to be validated. That is a very, very powerful thing. Please do that. That is absolutely part of processing emotions. But just talking about it and not doing anything with the energy, that is not processing. There is a difference. A lot of people, they will talk about an event and they bring up that energy. They get that energy in their energetic field. They might fill your house with it. They might fill the office with it, right? We all know this person. Maybe we've been this person where we had this energy that we were carrying with us everywhere that we went. That's not venting. That's just bringing it up. That's just getting it up in your air around you, but it's not clearing it out. And when you don't clear it out, it could actually kind of be re-traumatizing yourself to visit it over and over again. So I want to let you know, we're not talking about just venting. We're not talking about just talking about it over and over again. We're actually talking about moving the emotion through your body, helping that energy get into motion as it is supposed to be. So let's talk about it. But before we do, I want to remind you, safety first. Emotions are big things. Emotions can be heavy. They can be a whole lot to carry around. Sometimes we need help handling them. Sometimes we need a friend or a family member or a health professional to help us handle our emotions. Please know, if you feel like you're a danger to yourself or a danger to someone else, or even if you just feel like you need help processing this, don't do this work alone. Okay. If you don't feel ready for it, if your gut is telling you you're not ready for it, don't do it. Don't do it until you are ready for it. That's perfectly okay. Make sure that you're safe. If you need to be with a safe person, that's fine. If you need to get to a safe environment, that's fine as well. So please always be safe first. And start in a safe place. You're going to want to start in a safe place where you have some room, where you have some space to really process it. And sometimes this is our bathroom or the car or something like that. Sometimes you just have to remove yourself from the situation, get to a safe space. It's not always going to be going home. It might be with your therapist, it might be with your best friend, but it might be going to the bathroom real quick at work, or it might be going to your car real quick to get it out. I mean, who's ever had to do that, right? Absolutely. I see some hearts flying up. So I know I'm not the only one that's had to sneak off to a safe place before. So please, when you do this, you're going to want to start in a safe place. So now let's get into 10 steps that you can take to process your emotion, an actual step-by-step process. And the first step is to notice it. Notice it. Notice it and observe it. If you had to do this later, if you were upset in like at work or at a family function or something like that, sometimes you can't do it in the moment. So sometimes you're reflecting upon it, but notice what you felt. Notice what you're feeling. Notice what you did feel. Take some time to really notice and observe that feeling and get a real feel for it, right? Once you take the moment to notice it, I want you to name it. Now, this might seem simple or it might seem silly, but this is an extremely important part of this process. I want you to look at the feeling and ask yourself, what is it that I am feeling? Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling frustration? Or are you feeling impatience, irritation, disgust, guilt, shame, sadness, tiredness, defeat, worry, stress, anxiety? Whatever it is, whatever you're feeling, give it a name. And this is so very important. You're going to see why in a couple steps. Okay. So first I want you to notice it, and then I want you to name it. Step 3, I want you to accept the emotion. Again, it seems like a simple step, but how many times have you had an emotion and rejected it? How many times have you told yourself, don't be sad? How many times have you told yourself, don't cry, don't be anxious, or lied about how you feel? I'm not hurt. That didn't hurt me. That didn't bother me. I'm not heartbroken. I know I've done it, and I know that you've done it too. When we deny the emotion, that is repression and suppression. That is us shoving it down. So it's very important that you accept the emotion. So you're going to notice how you're feeling. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling some kind of way. I do not feel good. What does this feel like? Let me pay attention to this. Okay. It feels like, fire in my chest. It feels like bubbling in my belly. Like, what is this? I think that I'm actually like really angry and maybe a little nervous too. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling some anger and some nervousness. Okay. Like I get it. Okay. I'm angry. I'm nervous. This is what I'm feeling right now. So you want to accept it, and you want to own it, and you want to name it, right? After you own it, after you accept it, after you name it, I want you to see it as separate from yourself. This is why giving it a name is so very important. We often identify as our emotions. We will say, I am so happy. I am so joyful. I am so sad. I am so angry. I am so depressed. I am so, right? We say that this is how we are. But as we know, an emotion is not something that we're meant to hold on to and make part of our identity. An emotion is something that is supposed to move through our body, right? So I want you to see it as separate from yourself. Like we had the example before, I'm feeling it in my chest. I'm feeling it in my stomach. It feels kind of like a fire, kind of like a gurgling. I'm feeling this anger, right? So you want to see it as something separate from yourself. It's not something that you are, it is something that you are experiencing. If you were driving through a car wash, you would never say, I am a car wash, right? It seems silly when I say I'm a car wash, right? But when you say I'm angry and you identify your emotion as who you are, you don't think that that sounds silly. But it is silly because it's not who you are. It's something that you experience. So that's what I want you to know. I want you to know that this anger isn't you, it's something that's inside of you, and we need to move through you because it's supposed to be an experience. Let's go back to that car wash. Car wash is wonderful. You go through the car wash, your car is dirty, you go through the car wash, there's some colors, there's some lights, there's some noises. You come out on the other side, you're squeaky, shiny, clean. Amazing. Wonderful. That's how our emotions are supposed to be. Something that we go through, we experience, we receive some kind of wisdom and some kind of benefit from, and then we move on. If you were to get stuck in the middle of that car wash, it would not be a good time. No one wants to be stuck in the middle of the car wash forever, right? You want to get through and you want to get out. And it's the same with the emotions. So seeing it as separate from you is a big step towards that. Step 5, let it rise. I call this the surge. Once you've noticed it, once you've named it, once you've accepted it, and you know that it's separate from yourself, I want you to let it rise. So something has happened, it has triggered anger and nervousness in your chest and in your gut. And I want you to call up as much of that as you can. When we are triggered, we are not only triggered by the event that occurred, we are triggered by every time before this feeling was brought up, right? We are not upset just about this moment. We are upset about every moment that reminds us of it. So when we are triggered, whatever we are triggered, if something triggers our anger, we have the opportunity to clear anger from the body, and not just from the incident, but past anger. So I want you to call up all the anger that you can, or all the sadness that you can, or all the frustration that you can. Allow this feeling to really build up. Let it rise within you and get all of it that you can out, because this is an amazing opportunity. That trigger is like a magnet for any residual emotion inside of your body. So use this moment to pull it out and let it rise, bring it to the surface, right? This could also be where you're venting or where you're journaling or something like that, to really bring it up and bring it out and get it up and out. Like I said earlier about venting, venting does this stuff. It gets it up, it gets it out, it gets it into your energy field. So that's what you want. You want it out of your body and into your energy field. So we're going to let it surge. We're going to let it rise. Once we've done this, I want you to speak to yourself so kindly and so gently. Is practice self-compassion. See yourself for where you are and speak to yourself kindly. I see that you are angry. Of course, you are angry. Anybody would be angry in this situation. You have all the right to be angry. I love you and I understand what you're going through. I'm going to help you get through it. Be kind to yourself, okay? This is your opportunity to speak to yourself with kindness and to speak your way through this process just like you would a loved one. Then I want you to remember that you're not alone. It can be very isolating when we are triggered. We often feel that we're the only person who has gone through a certain situation. We'll feel very, very alone in it. But it is extremely rare that that's actually the case. Most things that we are going through as a human being, other human beings have gone through. It's the human experience. We all go through very, very similar things in our lives. So I want you to take a moment and remind yourself that you are not alone. You are not the only person who has been through this, and other people have gotten through this as well. When I think about this, I like to think about things like Beyonce, right? Like, say that you are in love and you got cheated on and you're hurt, right? Remember, even Beyonce got cheated on. Even Dolly Parton was jealous of Jolene. Like, there are so many people who have gone through this exact experience. And not only have they gone through it, they've gotten all the way through it. So they survived. You can survive too. Let yourself know it's okay to feel these feelings, and let yourself know you're not the only one that's been here. Other people have done this. They've gotten through it, and so can you. It's so powerful to know that other people have survived what you've been through. Sometimes you might need someone to remind you, hey, I've been where you've been through, and this is how I got through it, right? It's so important and so valuable to know that we are not alone in our experience. So remember that, right? Remember that you're a person who deserves compassion, and you are not alone in this situation. Whatever it is, you're not alone. You're not the only one. Number 8, the message. The message. So now we have our feeling, right? We have our feeling. We've named it. We've accepted it. We've recognized it as separate of ourselves. We've let it rise up into our energy field. And while we have it there, we have the opportunity to extract the message and extract the wisdom for the situation. Everything that you go through has some wisdom for you. There is knowledge there. This is a beautiful opportunity to check in for what is the message. What is this meaning to teach me? Often we're able to get it in the moment. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes the message comes later. But while you're doing this process, while this is up, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What does this show me? What is my first gut instinct on how this serves me, right? Because remember, everything happens for you. It does not happen to you. So ask, How is this happening for me? What is my message? Step 9 is breathe and allow the emotion to move through you. So we've identified the emotion, we know what it is, we know that it's separate from ourselves. We've used it as a magnet to attract any repressed energy in our body that matches this vibration, right? So we're using this anger trigger to pull all of the anger out of our body that we can. We're using this sadness trigger pull all of the sadness out of our body that we can, right? Because we don't want to hold it up. So now we have it, and it's like a ball of energy that you have at this point. So now I want you to take this energy and breathe and allow the emotion to move through you. And you might be thinking, Sara, what if it doesn't want to move? And I'm going to let you know that it does. It absolutely does. It showed up, it was triggered, it rose to the surface for a reason. That emotion wants to be in motion. It wants to move. If something doesn't want to move, that's us. That's our ego. And sometimes we're not ready. Sometimes we're not ready to let it go. Sometimes we're still dealing with the situation. Sometimes we need to realize the reality of the situation. So if it's not moving, it's because it's something to do with us that we need to work through. But does it want to move? Yes, it wants to move. That is its nature. It wants to move through you. It wants to go forward. So step 9 is to breathe the emotion to move it for you. And this is super simple to do. So simple. All you do is take some deep breaths. When you inhale, see yourself inhaling light and healing. And as you exhale, allow the energy to move. Inhale light, exhale, move the energy. Inhale light, exhale, move the energy. And as you continue to do this, you will notice that the energy begins to move. Something that's very interesting about energy is it won't always move the same way. Quite often it goes down to be grounded, but sometimes it's released upwards and released to the heaven. And sometimes it feels like it's being pulled right out of our body. You don't need to worry about which direction the energy is supposed to go into. Just breathe and allow, and the energy will move on its own. Do this until you feel the energy move completely out of your energy field. Joe Dispenza said that memory without emotion is wisdom. This is a powerful quote, and I put it in here because it reminds me of another quote that I often use, which is when you can touch the wound and it doesn't hurt, it is healed. It is healed. So after you move the emotion through you, that might be the best time to look and see where is the wisdom here. Remember what I said earlier when you're asking for the message? You might get a little bit in the moment, you might get none in the moment. Maybe it will come later. Quite often, the wisdom comes when the emotion's gone. So if it takes you to breathe this emotion through for you to receive that information, know that that's perfectly normal. Then step 10 is change the channel. Choose to shift your perspective. If you were just down in an angry, funky, sad, or depressed energy, and you just move that through you, there might still be a little bit of it in your in your energetic field, but no two things can take up the same space as once. So what I want you to do is I want you to do a shift to shift your perspective and change the energy channel. You can do this by exercising, going for a run is something that you can do that for. You can watch something that you think is really funny or that always makes you laugh. I know a lot of people, they like to watch the same programs over and over again because they always make them laugh. And if you have something that does that, that can be really powerful. Laughter is one of the highest vibrations it is. There is, and it will absolutely clear residual stuck junk energy out of your energy fields. Another powerful way to change the channel to shift your perspective is through music, right? I see lots of you here live. Thank you guys for saying hello and throwing up the hearts. Let me know what you do to change the channel and shift your perspective when you're ready to move from that low vibe to that high vibe state. I love listening to music. Music is a great way to do it. Turning up some high vibe music, singing at the top of your lungs, dancing around. It can be a really, really powerful thing to do. Or you can even go do it in your car, right? Belt one out in your car as you drive around. Give yourself some space and get yourself into a high vibe situation. Another thing that you can do that's coming to me right now is you can pet your pets. When you pet your pets, when you hear a cat purr, when you pet your dog, that is absolutely amazing for raising your vibration. So absolutely do what you can to change the channel and shift your perspective. It might be watching a movie. It might be hanging out with someone that makes you laugh. It might be petting your dog or petting your cat. Do something to get yourself in that higher vibrational state. And then that is going to dissolve any of that low vibes that's left around. So who's in? Who is ready to start processing their emotions in a conscious way? Right? We got 10 steps. We're going to recognize that it's happening. We're going to notice it. Then we are going to name it. We're going to name it. We're going to notice it. We're going to accept it as our own. Right? We're going to breathe through it. We're going to ask ourselves for any wisdom that it has. We're going to allow it to build up in our body. And then we're going to breathe it through and let it go before we move into our higher vibe activity to really clear it out, right? 10 easy steps. Who's in? Yes, I'm seeing lots of hands. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Juniper. Hello, Arthur. Hello, Julia. Hello, everybody. Hello, Heidi. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. This is hard work. And I want to let you know, you are a rock star for doing this work. I'm so very proud of you. And you might be saying, like, how do you know that I'm doing this work? How do you know to call me a rock star and that you're proud of me? And I'm going to tell you how I know. I know because we are 36 minutes into this broadcast and you are here. You are here. You're taking this time for yourself. You just took the last half hour of your life to learn how to better identify, accept, and process your emotions. And that is hard work. And you're here, so you're doing it. And I am so very proud of you. So if you're here 30 minutes in, you're still doing it, you're doing the work, and I am proud of you. Give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a little hug, and let yourself know that you're proud of yourself too, because this is hard work, right? You're taking the time out of your day to learn how to do what most people have spent their entire lives learning how to avoid. So thank you. Thank you so much for doing that work. You're totally a rock star and super proud of you. Thank you all so much for being here today. Like I said, I'm proud of you. You're doing the hard work. When you raise your vibration, you not only raise your own vibration, but you raise the vibration of everyone around you, and you raise the vibration of the collective as a whole. In my opinion, this is the most sacred work that anybody can do. And I thank you for doing this work. With that said, the light in me bows to the light in you. So I say, namaste. Thank you guys so much for being here. Quick note, we are in the last few days of the 4 Seasons 4-pack Reiki special. It's only $444 to set yourself up for a year of balance with a 4-pack of remote soul RX Reiki sessions. These are powerful sessions where I go in and clean up any of your energetic junk that is hanging around. I balance your chakras. I clear them out. I activate them. I make sure they're working in the optimal fashion and get you ready for the season ahead. So if this is something that you've been thinking about, you only got a few more days to do it. please get this special while it's available if you're thinking about it. Once again, thank you all so much for being here. I love you so much. Lighten me, vows to lighten you. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Namaste.